harsh heat wave is expected to start sweeping through India and Pakistan today. We are joined by Dr. Simon Wang. He's the professor of climate dynamics at Utah State University. Professor, thank you so much for joining us. You know, heat waves have always occurred, but how exceptional is the latest heat wave you're seeing in South Asia?
This is the very extreme event within the range of the climate predictions. We know the mean temperature has increased associated with the global warming trend, but what's the most dangerous part is that it tends to tip that extreme phase of the season. We are in May and the northwest part of India and Pakistan. Traditionally, this is the time of the year when they frequently suffer from high temperatures. That's why people embrace the arrival of the monsoon in June. However, the global warming trend has a tendency of push these high temperatures even higher. Considering the landscape, the lack of cloud cover, solar radiation, all that together, we are seeing this trend to continue. And climate models are actually predicting future, the next 20 to 30 years, to have higher temperatures than what we observe today.
And what do these heat waves mean for the people in South Asia? How does it impact their lives and livelihood?
Yeah, it's a very good question. It's considering human body temperatures has to maintain below 38 degrees Celsius. And then imagine if you have a 48 degrees Celsius of air temperature, which means without sunlight, that's how hot the temperature is. And there's no escape of it, especially in rural areas or people with less income who do not have those air-conditioned shelters. And that poses extreme danger to their health. We also will see indirect casualties of people jumping into waters. In fact, the drowning cases associated with heat wave also increase. Local government seems to have shifted the working hours, so people will work at a slightly cooler time of the day. However, the prolonged exposure to high temperatures is extremely dangerous. As we have seen even in North America, in the Death Valley, people die from heat strokes every year. The 2005 New Orleans, after Hurricane Katrina hit, and the people were exposed into the extreme heat as well.
Professor, is this kind of extreme weather events will be seen more often in the future, a new norm? Should we get used to this?
I think that is the trend climate models are predicting. I just checked the data for that area. And also for Northern Indian Ocean, we have this big landmass and also the ocean mass that are seeing this consecutive increasing trend in terms of their heat content. So ocean temperature increase would stay there because water keep the heat. Then for the desert regions like that, we have this surface of the land emitting more heat, like a hot afternoon from the hot road surface. The heat won't stop. It will continue to heat up the air. That's the level of the air that people live in. So we are seeing the increasing trend that will go on for the next at least 30 to 40 years if we don't stop global warming.
And Professor, why is South Asia particularly vulnerable? Some experts believe life could literally become unbearable there before the end of the century.
That is quite possible given just the extreme heat we are experiencing right now. So you have high temperatures in a lot of desert areas, but there's really not many people living there, like the Sahara Desert. However, this part of South Asia regions, we have very high populations. I think the combined population in Northwest India and Pakistan, it's way over millions. So we have this high density of human population living in a landscape and a climate that every year will go through these pre-onset heat waves that is getting more and more extreme. So I think we are seeing these colliding tracks of these two elements that will increase the casualty for the foreseeable future.
Or the latest heat wave has caught people and governments unprepared. Given expectations that they could occur more often and last longer, Professor, how should authorities prepare for possible extreme weather events?
It's a very good question. I think as far as the local government and individual countries are concerned, I think the priority should always be on saving lives. And in this case, it's not like a heat wave happening in an unseasonal time, right? It's not in the winter time or it's not during the monsoon. This is the time for the region to experience heat wave year after year. It's the scale and the level of the heat wave this year that is unprecedented. And every 1 degree you increase, the exposure to the health hazard will increase exponentially. In terms of government, we're providing shelter, relocating people probably, that will directly save life. Fortunately, so to speak, heat waves usually don't last too long. I mean, you come in about a week or two, So if there's a way to shift people to safer places or building shelters that can just cool down the temperature 2 to 3 degrees below the critical levels, that could have saved a lot of lives.
And how should we think about the link between these heat waves, climate change, and how we are contributing to our own downfall with slow action on climate goals?
That's a global question, the bigger scale questions that we need to all address. India alone or the neighboring regions alone, they need to do their share of cutting out emissions. That's the carbon emissions that is causing the earth to warm. The past trend and the future trends are very coincident. They basically go hand in hand. So that's within the physical explanations. That also mean that if we cut down emissions globally, then we can slow down this warming trend. I think that global economical power can bring good to people in terms of innovation of the renewable energies and just shifting people's energy consumption habits.
Professor, thank you so much for your time. This morning we value your expertise. Dr. Simon Wang, Professor of Climate Dynamics, Utah State University.
Thank you.